Are you interested in making $1 million? Or would you rather be wealthy? Well, our next guest talks about it, so let's connect. Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to visit with me at the Connect Podcast with Mel Capers. I'm your host, Mel Capers, so glad to be here with you. Hey, listen, before we get going, let me just stop, give pause, and give thanks to my great Creator for allowing me just another opportunity to do His will on this side of heaven. I also want to take this time to send some shout outs to some real good friends. My first, I got to tell you, these folks have been with me and doing amazing things coming up in 2023. So look out for them. They're my good friends, Tasha and Kevin White. They are co-founders of Vanguardian Global. I got to tell you, you have got to follow them. Vanguardian Global, find out what's going on. When they do things, it's big. They do big things. So please go by their website at vanguardianglobal.com. Also want to send a shout out to a good friend. She is Sonia Pinckney Rhodes. She is founder and CEO of J.M. Pinckney Publishing, doing amazing things. I've had so many guests come on my show that were actually sent by Sonia herself. She sent them to me, and I am so touched by that. I'm so happy that we have that connection. So please go by her website at jmpinkneypublishing.com. Also want to send a shout out to a good friend. She is Ronalda Sullivan. She is indeed doing amazing things around the world now. She is a world traveler. I'm telling you, you really got to check her out. She is the founder and CEO of Dream Differently. She is at ronaldasullivan.com. You will learn more about her and more about Dream Differently. My guest today is one who goes back, like I said, way back from the beginning. And it's my brother, and he's going to be talking about changing your mindset from just trying to make so much money to trying to be wealthy and keeping that mindset. We've got a great show. We're glad you're here. You'll meet my brother. His name is Dervin Capers. He's going to come to you in our first segment we call Meet and Greet. Today, it is a special day. I have a special guest on today, somebody who I've known for a very, very long time. And if you ask him his age, that's about how long I've known him. It happens to be my brother. Dervin is on with me. I am so happy to have you here. How are you doing?
We're doing good, man. We are truly doing good.
Now, come on now. Everybody always answer like that. That's like when you sneeze and somebody said bless you and they don't really mean it.
We are doing good. God has been blessing us, and I just thank God for what He's doing. I tell you, we're doing good.
That's right. Fantastic. Well, good to have you here. I tell you what, we got some great things that we want to talk about, but everybody knows me who's been following me, so I'm going to kind of step out of the way. And our first segment is called Meet and Greet. So people know who I am, and they know a little bit about you because they know your last name. But tell my listening audience who you really are.
Well, my name is Dervin Capers, of course, and I'm here in the Atlanta area, north of Atlanta, in Beaufort, Georgia, and I am a minister out in Winder, Georgia, which is near Athens, UGA, and we've been so busy over this past year. God has been blessing us, I tell you, uh, with the church situation, um, with the job. I'm an employee of the CDC. So I've been busy, and I thank God for the ability to be busy, to keep busy, because some people would like to just work, but God has been opening doors, and I thank God for where He's taken us to. And I was just sharing with my wife recently how really I'm only getting about 4 to 5 hours sleep per night, but it's all right. I'm all right. I thank God as long as I can do that. I'm good. I'm good.
Wow.
Uh, but on the weekends, I, I try to catch up.
You know, naps are good for babies and old people.
Yes, Lord. And I'm there. I
So
am there.
just don't do like what I used to do when I used to drive home, is fall asleep during the traffic. When you come to a stop, it's like you're so tired you just have to take a quick power nap. That's not safe. So
Well,
how do you do it? I mean, because I mean you got the church and you got work. I mean, how do you balance that?
well, I'm gonna tell you what's been a blessing over the last 2, 3 years, 2 years, 3 years with COVID. I've been working from home, and I'm telling you that 2 to 3 hours of drive time, that helps out a lot. That helps out a lot. I'm not as stressed as I was when I was going into the office. So truly, that's a blessing, and it really gives me the opportunity to uh, do more of what I need to do. Either it being work or a church situation. It gives me the time to do that. And so I thank God for that. Really, I do. We look at it and say, sometimes we look at it and say, we would like to be in the office. And I know some of y'all are still in the office. But I'll be honest with you. This is my office. This is my office right here at home. And I don't waste the gas. I don't spend no money on gas. I don't spend as much money on food. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
There is something in the air right now, at least in Congress, this Congress. They're talking about trying to bring the federal workforce back in the office. Is that affecting you? And if so, how's it affecting?
We talked about it recently. As a matter of fact, I'm part of the union also at my job, and they talked about it recently, but they are not really. They realize that we're doing just as much at home as we would if we were in the office. So that in the buildings that we're in, we're leasing those buildings. So they're realizing they're saving some money also by us not coming into the office. So
Yeah.
hopefully this will not change for a while. Even if we go back a day or two a week, that's fine. But I just can't do a 5 day a week thing. I just can't do that. That's too
Yeah,
much
I
time
know.
out of your week in traffic.
I think somebody told me, Dervin, that it was just interesting. I just heard it over the weekend. It says, if they make you go back into the office now, it's like taking a pay cut, because you have to pay so much for gas, you have
Yeah,
to pay so much for everything that you never thought about.
yeah.
But now you're saving because you don't have to go anywhere. Well, let me ask you this: how long have you been in Atlanta, and how long have you been pastoring at the church?
Been in Atlanta since 1989.
Oh,
Um, the church, I've been there. Well, as a matter of fact, I've been to this church for 7 years, 8 years, going on 8 years now.
so
We
how do
just
you
don't work.
juggle that with work, though? I mean, when do you turn it off?
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes they run back to back. I'll be honest with you. And just so happen right now, um, we are in the second quarter. So right now is not our busiest time right now. But starting March 15th, March 15th is our March Madness. It's going to get mad, real mad. That's when we have like 800 awards that we have to work on, and so we got to have those out before the end of the fiscal year.
Wow.
And so that's going to be interesting. And that's when it's really, really busy. So right now it's a calm season. It's the calm before the storm. Uh, but 2 weeks from now, it's going to be a whole different thing.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
Well, let everybody know about your family. You said something about having a wife who has to wake you up after
oh no,
3 hours.
oh no. She, as a matter of fact, she goes out to work early in the morning and
Oh,
she
wow.
leaves me right in bed. But yeah, my wife, we've been married for how long? We've been married 30, going on 31 years,
Wow. Okay.
and we have two daughters, Bria, who is 30, and Christian, who is 29.
Wow.
And it's been a blessing. They've been there supporting me and helping me out in some areas. So as well as they've been there to be that thorn on my side all
Wow.
the time.
That's what children are all about. You don't
Lord,
know you're a
have
parent
mercy.
until you get that thorn stuck and pushed.
Wow. But it's all been good. It's all been good. I thank God for again the journey that I have taken to get to where I am today.
Good.
I just thank God. Um, he's opening doors that I never expected to be open.
Well, I know
And
you talked about opening doors before when you got in touch with me earlier, and I know you have some things on the horizon. So why don't we do that now? You ready to get to the next segment we
I
call On
am
the
ready for the
Horizon?
horizon.
Let's do it.
Yes.
So here we are on the horizon. I got my good friend. Actually, he's better than a friend. I guess he's a brother. He used to share the same bed with me, right?
Yeah. Right. Right.
So,
Right.
my brother Dervin Capers is on. Let everybody know. Let's talk about what's on the horizon for you.
Oh, what's on the horizon? As I said, being in ministry, God gives us dreams and visions. And God has given me a vision of owning a subdivision, building a subdivision. Went to my sister-in-law's house in Tampa, and each house in her subdivision, which is a gated community, is a ranch-style home with a pool in the back. And I'm like, and every time we go to Florida and we rent Airbnb,
Mhm.
each house has a pool in the back. So I'm like, why don't we have something like that here in Atlanta area? So God gave me a vision and said, why should only the builders who are building homes now, why should they be the only ones that tapping into the money as far as homes are concerned? Why can't I do that? And one of the things I do believe is God has no respect of persons. If he can bless one man, be it he's white, red, black, I don't care what color he may be, he should be able to bless me as well.
Yes.
Because of who we are. And so God wants to see us succeed. He wants to see us prosper as our soul prospers, is what the word of God says. So he gave me this vision to try to purchase some land and build about approximately 10 homes. It's not necessarily a big subdivision, but approximately 10 homes with a clubhouse, but each home having its own pool for 55 and older. Strictly for 55 and older. As he gave me this vision, that's the first phase of this thing, because there's a second phase also. The second phase is building homes for children, for family, for the whole family that may have pools in the back also. Because again, quite often what happens when you have a home, when you move into some of these new homes, they have a clubhouse, and the clubhouse has a pool, and you have to be able to get into the pool whenever you want to, whatever. But down in Florida, again, you just come out of your house and you go into the pool whenever you want to. It's an enclosed pool. And I'm like, that idea it's great. It gets hot here in Georgia. God help it, gets hot. And I think to be able to cool down in your own pool is ideal. And so what I'm looking for right now is some property, and I was sharing with my wife just recently that I'm probably going to be looking closer towards University of Georgia out in the Athens area, which is about a 30-minute ride for me. But it's a lot of trees out there, and it's really undeveloped land compared to where I'm living right now. There is no property available, to be honest with you. And if there is, it's going to be expensive. So that's where I am. And so what I'm looking to do is try to find out what do I need to do to get to the next level, to
Okay.
get to that point.
Well, let me ask you, because obviously there's some things that popped out there that just kind of piqued my interest. You said build a subdivision for 55, but yet going towards the University of Georgia. Um, and then you talked about the pool, and it seems that having a pool in the backyard is important for the subdivision that you want to build.
Right.
But the real question I think that I have is that you talked about walking up and down the stairs at your age, and will 55 and above folks use a pool that often?
I do believe so. As a matter of fact, I was watching a television show about lottery winners, and the couple came from New York, and one of their first things, and they were an older couple, and one of the first things they said they had to have a pool in the backyard. And when I heard that, I was like, yeah, older people like to swim as well. Do I swim? No, I don't swim. But just to be able to sit in the pool and be comfortable, I think as we get older, that's something that we can do as far as exercise is concerned as well. So it can be healthy for us as well as enjoyable for us. So yeah, as we get older, I think that we could find ourselves exercising more in a pool setting than out on the streets a lot of times.
Well, I like that idea. I think it's a great idea to build a subdivision for people at a certain age in, like you said, undeveloped areas right now. And so, have you done any research yet to find out if any undeveloped areas in the area you're looking for? Do they have any property for sale? I think, what is it called? Redfin? I think it's called Redfin.
Yeah.
Have you gone on Redfin and taken a look at some of the land that
Yeah.
they may be selling out there?
I have looked, but let me say this. The area I had looked in is in the Flowery Branch area, is where the Atlanta Falcons practice in that area. And it is a little cheaper than the county I live in, but it's becoming very scarce in property now, as because it's right near the lake as well. And so a lot of people are buying to be near the lake. And a lot of people are buying because, again, the Falcons training camp is out there.
Right.
My daughter works at a tax place, a property tax. And so I keep asking her, I said, I need you to check and see if there's some land, some property that's available out there. And she hadn't really been diligent about it, but we're going to follow up on that as well as, like you said, Redfin, Zillow, and all of these different sites. I just have to do due diligence to follow up on that.
Yeah, and I think also a good place to look is if you can tap into the county records. You know how sometimes the county has records of property and land they have records of property and land no matter what. Yeah. So I think if you take a look at just that county that you're interested in to see if there are any property for sale in the area that you're looking at. Not that you want to buy that property, but at least you'll get an idea of what the cost is.
Right.
So I think you might be able to do that research on your own. But I think also just kind of committing like 60 to 90 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's just a week, then fine. 60 to 90 minutes to just focus on writing, what do you need to do to get what you want?
Yeah.
And so I think doing this, I remember our cousin actually turned me on to, down in our home state, turned me on to the county website where we went and, we actually went online, and I was able to see the property value of different plots and different things like that. So that is a great opportunity if you go into the county and then just go on the website, and you can find that because it's made to the public. And here's a good thing: you might find something in an area that you never thought about.
True.
That's even better. So I think the county records is a good place, or the county assessor's office, or in that area, is a good place to do some research. What's your timetable for completing your vision?
One thing that you did bring to my attention, and I have to put an end date on it. Or otherwise, every year I'll be coming back to you asking the same question.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't have to be a drop dead date. It's just a date that forces you to take action to do some things.
Right.
A lot of information on the horizon, obviously, and you got a lot going on. And let me ask you this question before we get to the next segment: when you gonna get this all done?
I hadn't put a deadline to it yet, but when you said 5 years, I was like, that's a very good point. That's a very good deadline.
Well, let's look at 5 years. Well, that means that I at least have one guest 5 years from now, right?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Listen, you ready to get our final segment?
Yes, let's go to the final segment.
Here we go. Here we are in our final segment. This is the Connect segment. This is where our guests get an opportunity to let everybody know how to get in touch with them. So what is your cell phone number, your home phone number, your bank account, your credit card? Oh, maybe not all that. So let everybody know, how do they get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you?
Let me just give you my email address. You can reach me at Pastor DTC at Gmail, or you can go on the church website is wosmbc.org. That's White Oak Springs Missionary Baptist Church.org. And I'm expecting God to do some great things real soon. So just keep me lifted up and keep me in prayer.
Absolutely. Listen, thank you for taking the time. I know you're a busy man. I hope I didn't take any of the hours of the 4 hours that you have to sleep away from you, but do what I usually do when I get real tired and don't want to walk to bed. Just lean up against the wall and go to sleep like the broom.
I sleep downstairs. Don't go upstairs. Too tired to walk upstairs.
I know, right? Hey, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
No problem. We'll talk to you soon.
Real soon. All right? Real soon.
All right.
Have a good night.
We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So please like, share, subscribe, and leave a review. You can also find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Mel Capers Coaching. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.